Welcome to the Intentional Household Podcast. Today, we're talking about one of the most powerful parenting tools you already have, your example. I'm joined by Tatiana today, and we have both learned firsthand how leading by example when it comes to physical activity can shape the energy, routines, and even mindset of an entire household. Together, we explore how family movement doesn't have to mean strict workout plans or early morning jogs. It can look like neighborhood walks, dance parties in the kitchen, or turning everyday moments into chances to move and connect. You'll walk away from this episode with realistic, sustainable ways to bring more movement into your family's life and a deeper understanding of how those small choices create lifelong habits in our kids, far beyond just physical health. Let's get into it. As you know, Alex and I, we were doing our training for 29029 Everesting. It was 20 weeks of training. And then before that, Alex was doing his rim to rim to rim for the Grand Canyon hike. Mm-hmm. And that was about 11 weeks of training. And so this is training that we had done everywhere, all hours of the day, really, wherever we could fit it in. So it could be leaving the house for a hike, going to the gym. Alex would do step-ups on our balcony outside of his office, just anywhere, really. And so we would talk about this all the time. Our kids were around. They would hear the conversations. And what we learned is that they're watching and listening to everything we say and watching everything that we do. And they were really picking up on the habits that we had established, and they're sponges. Mm-hmm. And so I really wanted to talk about physical activity within the family and how we are leading by example to our kids today, because the activity that we do as adults or as parents, it really kind of sets the tone for the activity that our kids may have throughout their entire lives.
Yes. I have to say, growing up, I rarely saw my parents do any physical activity.
I would agree.
It just really wasn't part of their life. Like later, they got like some sort of physical trainers, probably because they really had to.
Okay.
just like they were aging, right? And they knew they had to like build more muscle mass, but they didn't regularly make physical activity part of our lives. And, you know, I don't, for sure. Having children of my own, I feel like that is not the way to go.
No.
Like it needs to be part of everyday life.
It does. And
your kids need to see that.
They need to see it, which is a really good point, because I find that before, both Alex and I would be working out at times where if we didn't talk about it, my kids would have no idea that we were working out because it would be after they had gone to school or before they got home, and it would be outside of the house. So they would really have no idea.
Yes, I feel like that's often the case for people. They keep it very separate.
Yeah, but if we can have these conversations or fit it in ways, in small chunks, so that they get a glimpse of what their parents are doing, then it really does affect them, and it wears off on them.
Yes, and it just makes them feel like this is something you're supposed to be doing throughout your day, because our world often is very sedentary.
Yes.
And, you know, there's so many, we don't need to get into obviously all the health concerns there. I think everybody's well aware of it, but we are not meant to be sitting all day long. Even though you feel like you've done a lot of things because your brain has been very active and like maybe you commuted to work, so you feel like you went somewhere, but you sat there the whole time, you know, so it really feels like it's difficult to fit it in. And I think our kids are going to obviously have those same experiences, same challenges. So being able to be a living example of how physical activity needs to happen throughout your day, wherever you can fit it in to have a long, healthy life, I think is an important example to show your children.
Mm-hmm. And I think you talked about being sedentary. I think a lot of people don't understand, or they don't know the guidelines about how much activity they should be getting or how long is too long to be sitting at a time.
Yes, I think people are somewhat trying to grasp that. Like you keep hearing this, you need 10,000 steps, you need all these things, but they're just like, okay, this is, I guess, what I need to have, you know, but they're not, I don't know if like you said, it's not really made very clear. It obviously depends on how sedentary your day is. I don't know if there's a one size fits all, but yeah, what do you think the guidelines would be?
Well, there are some guidelines
Okay.
that I am going to communicate. And so these are the Canadian 24-hour movement guidelines. So let's talk about children. So I'm talking about children as young as 1 up to 4 years of age. So we're talking about at least 180 minutes. So that's 3 hours of physical activity spread throughout the day. By physical activity, I mean energetic play.
Running around,
Tags, right?
Something
That
like that
counts.
Yeah.
Anything like that, so that they aren't sitting at home indoors watching a screen or anything else. So just any sort of energetic play. Children 5 years to 17, it's 60 minutes a day of moderate to vigorous activity, plus muscle and bone strengthening 3 times a week. And so if you think about it, I mean, on the weekend, like at school,
Yes.
they get their physical activity. That is a part of the curriculum.
Yes.
But say, the weekend comes.
If they're in sports,
Yeah.
that's why like sports activities are very important because they
Yes.
will be getting it there for sure. It's the concern is like when they stop and they go into high school, and if they choose to stop some of their sports, then they really it's really reduced how much physical activity they're getting because they're not getting recess anymore. And if they've chosen to stop some of their sports teams, though that amount of activity really comes to a screeching halt. And that's when you have to depend on healthy habits.
Yes.
So it's teaching them with their children to understand that this is like, you need to always have this amount. Like right now, you get this because at school, which is exactly what is required, which is what you need. But when you're out on your own in high school already, which is like, they're still like half kids, 14 years old, they need to be able to rely on themselves to get that sort of activity in.
Yeah.
And then it gets even worse in university.
Yes. So establishing these healthy habits very early on so that it is just a part of everyday life,
Yeah.
which is the easiest way to get it in. And we'll talk about kind of strategies on how that can be incorporated. But doing that so that they don't reach, say, 14 and it suddenly feels like a chore because
Yes.
they've never, beyond the structured activities, they haven't done anything else.
Exactly.
And so really making it a part of everyday life. So yeah, so that's 60 minutes a day. So let's just say you have kids who aren't in sports on the weekend, then really being mindful, like you want to get out with them, do something. And this starts as young as 5. So really starting when they're young to get them out so that they have the 60 minutes a day. And then for adults, this is age 18 to 64. This is 150 minutes per week of moderate to vigorous activity, plus strength training 2 times a week, which we ladies who are 40 plus
Need to have it.
know that.
That's almost
we
like
have
seems like light to me.
Yeah. Yes. So 2 times a week of strength training is minimum. And this is really to help our bones
100%. Once you hit
strong.
40, like you can tell like the strength, like it is a lot more difficult to maintain that muscle mass. And just, and you need it for everything, your metabolism, like keeping yourself feeling good about your body shape and like your physical energy and all of that. You need to have that muscle mass. So yeah, definitely need to. And again, you don't want it to feel like a chore. It's just part of life.
Yes.
Like brushing your teeth.
Exactly. So how can you just weave it into life so that it doesn't feel like a chore?
I think that is the key.
Okay. So I'll give you
question.
one example. If you are a household who lives close enough to the school so that it's walking distance, it's including the walking as part of the transportation to get to school. Getting to school and home, we live 7 minutes from the school, and our kids sometimes they ask to be picked up. And I'm like, no. Okay, this is a luxury. We live so close. We're walking home.
I think walking is one of the best ways to do it. Exercise, so easy, so healthy.
Yes.
It's free. And you can do so many more things probably with it than you realize. Go to the bank, pick up like a couple of groceries that are missing.
Yes.
Don't drive. Like really think about it. Do I need to drive?
Exactly.
And take a kid with you.
Yeah.
We're going to go pick up some milk. We're out of milk. Let's go get some milk. You need to get go to the bank, walk to the bank. Usually most banks are walking distance for most residential areas in some form.
Yeah.
And even if it's like 25 minutes, that's great.
When I was a dietitian, one of the questions I would ask every client who was trying to manage their weight is, do you have a dog? Because if you have a dog, your dog has to go out to be walked. And so that's a really great way. You don't want to go out to walk alone. Okay, bring your dog, put a podcast in, listen to that. When Alex or I will take our dogs out for a walk, quite often one or two kids will ask to come with us. So, and they see that. It's just a part of the routine. They want to come. After dinner.
I think that's a great time to go for a walk.
If we don't have activities.
To bring it back. Bring back
bring it back, right? I mean, most nights we do have activities, but the nights when we're free, like for instance, last night, Alex said, hey, what night is it? Do we have anything going on? We didn't. So he said, okay, let's go to the park. And so we all went to the park together. So we'll often do that, whether it's a neighborhood park that's close by we can walk to, or we'll even drive to a park because it's far enough away that we have to drive there, or even just going out for a walk around the neighborhood is another
you run
way.
into neighbors. Like I just think that's the easiest, so cost effective, so flexible. It's just bringing up the walking, like trying to make a point of like we need to go for a walk 3 times a week.
Yes.
Somehow, some way.
Yeah. If it's a Saturday morning and there's a farmer's market.
A coffee shop that you like to go to.
Something like that,
That's
right?
like justifies the treat of having to get the coffee, but walk there.
And here's another one, because I feel like this is talked about all the time when I was younger, but it's take the stairs instead of the elevator. And
I have to tell my kids all the time, like, let's take the elevator, let's take the escalator. I'm like, your legs are working.
Yeah.
They're fine. We're meant to go up here.
And so if they see us doing it, then eventually, because I know that the escalator for our kids
is
like
a novelty.
It's still novel to them.
Yes.
But eventually it'll wear off. And then if they just see that their mom or dad always takes the stairs, then they will eventually do that as well.
Yes.
So,
Just modeling that behavior.
It's modeling it. And what you think is normal in your household may be very different than what is normal in someone else's household. And so when you're normalizing these activities and these behaviors, it's second nature and it's just incorporated, and then they will grow up to live these habits as well.
100%. Going back to like where my parents were very like they weren't physically active. And my older sister, when she hit high school, became like she felt she wanted to lose weight. That pressure of like, your body changes so much for women. And again, she wasn't in any sort of recess. All that stuff stopped.
Yes.
And she doesn't feel great about herself. And she felt really awkward about it, being like, I want to work out at home and I want to, and just not having any support or anything to see from her parents.
No examples.
No examples. I remember her getting her like Cindy Crawford workout video, which was hilarious.
I thought you were going to say outfit.
No, you should have seen her outfit. That was amazing. But the Cindy Crawford work, I remember it so well. This was like the era of the 90s. And my dad just being like, what are you doing? Like coming downstairs and being like, what are you watching right now? And, her just having to like being like, no, I need to have some exercise. I think she'd been teased at school and whatever and like wanted to like make a change. But it wasn't easy for her because there was no model. She had no model and she felt like ashamed and like didn't even have any friends. But managed to find this like probably from like a YM magazine or something that this Cindy Crawford had this video and like begging her parents to like buy it, probably my mom, and getting it. And like that was finally how she was able to get some physical activity in.
Okay. Wow. And she was desperate for it.
She was desperate to have something and like didn't know how to do it otherwise. Like probably could have gone jogging, but there was no one around her jogging. What if she would have felt even weirder? Like, there was just nothing.
Yes. Okay.
So that's a really big reason to, model those healthy habits again before high school.
It is. And so that brings me to the story that I want to share that happened to us a couple weeks ago. So we were all upstairs in the attic. That's where the kids' bedrooms are. And Alex could hear this counting. 1, 2, 3. And he's like, what's going on? And then he looked around the corner in one of the bedrooms, and my son was doing step-ups on my daughter's step stool.
Okay.
And so step-ups were a part of our training. And Alex's step-ups, the way he did it was very unique. He counted every single step-up. I think it was something like 800 or 1,000 that he would count. It's just like our last episode, we talked about trick-or-treating. Every single candy Alex hands out, he counts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But anyway, and we're talking about, again, 800 to 1,000 counting. But
Bring some joy.
bring some joy counting.
Mm-hmm.
And so he counts out loud as he does hundreds of step-ups. And he ended up getting up to 200. And that's a behavior that is so unique to what Alex is doing. There's no way he would have picked that up elsewhere. The same day, I was doing box jumps and I had recorded a video. And
yes.
I was showing.
Those are amazing.
I think I was showing Alex because we always like to one-up each other, and my kids were around and they saw the video. So the next thing he knows, while my son is doing the step-ups on her bed, my daughter is now doing box jumps on her bed.
Wow.
And we couldn't believe it. And we had 2 little kids working out in the bedroom because of what they had seen from us modeling that behavior. And that wasn't something we were trying to get them to do, but they saw their parents doing that. And so that was really amazing to see.
I have something on that as well. My husband and I, we used to play badminton all the time, at our cottage, a family cottage. And honestly, I just think the badminton net went down or something.
Okay.
My kids saw this picture of us, when we were pre-kids playing badminton. And my son's just like, oh, you look so happy back then.
Wow.
And I just realized that we don't do sports play enough in front of them. Again, our workouts are very separate.
Mm-hmm.
I like to work out in the morning before all the kids' stuff. So they don't, like you're saying, they don't see it.
Yeah.
So they didn't see us having fun playing sports in front of them. And we were both of us were oh no, this is bad. We need to start playing in front of the kids more.
Yeah.
And having some fun, competitive sports. And when we do, they are into it and they're playing badminton. And it's immediate, like you said. As soon as they see it, they want in and they will do those things.
Yes.
And it took that to remind us that it's been years, 10 years since we played badminton together.
Yeah.
And then in front of our kids.
And I bet you were having so much fun.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
And then back to, again, my sister who she had to break and try to get exercise into the house.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I was a teenager, it was no big deal for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I'd been seeing my sister doing it. It was an
Yes.
easy thing to this is how Melania works out. My older sister, I should be doing it too. And it was just an easier, so you just need to have those examples in front of you.
Yes. One of the other things that I wanted to include is we talked about going to the park in the evening or going for a walk. When it was cross-country season or track season, there was an expectation that kids practice outside of school. And so our family, we would go to the track and my daughter would run around. Alex or I would run with her. We would challenge one another. The boys would bring their bikes and we would all just run or bike around the track.
That's great.
And then even when the season was done, we still will go to a park and we will race one another from tree to tree. And it's just a fun way to bring some competition to the family. And now everyone's kind of involved in racing one another.
And again, you're getting that exercise that, doesn't feel like it.
It's just fun.
It's probably as effective, you running back and forth, racing each other is probably as effective as a HIIT workout is, right?
Mm-hmm,
And people are struggling
yes.
to try to get those in, and being oh, I got to get my workout in. But meanwhile, if you just do it as play and fun, then you don't even notice that you're doing it and it's going to be as effective.
It is. And that brings me to this point that I wanted to say, and it's kind of like the badminton and you and Adam playing and enjoying yourselves. If adults can find an activity or a sport that they love doing, and as you know, I love playing tennis. It brings me so much joy, and I certainly feel my heart rate working. It is a workout.
Oh, yeah.
But because I'm just having so much fun, I'm not focused on it being challenging or it's not bothering me. Do I love working out? No, I don't. It doesn't bring me as much joy as when I'm playing tennis and just having so much fun. And so that is just another way if individuals want to bring in some more activity that's beyond
hitting a number of calories.
Yeah, exactly.
Expelling calories and being I need to run for an hour. I need to do this. It's just going through the motions.
Yes, right. But maybe you don't enjoy it. That the next step would be thinking of an activity whether it's something that is new to you, establishing it, or reflecting on activities you've done or sports you've done in your past when you were a teenager, those sports you enjoyed engaging in, and bringing it back.
Yeah, I think it's just like rephrasing it as just like physical play.
Yes.
Like even if those guidelines, like the requirement is like physical play. Like, have you gone outside to play today? Like, it's funny how, like I said, it's like after grade school, that stops, like even in the teen's head or preteen, like that's just like no more.
Yep.
You're not playing outside anymore. You're not getting recess. You can't go outside to play. Like that word just disappears after the age of 13.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe it shouldn't. Maybe it should be brought back. And like, so that again, you look at physical activity as enjoyable and playful and putting in those things that did bring you joy and play rather than just ticking a box.
Yeah.
But you don't really into it that much.
Because play is really lifelong and it's really a mindset.
It is. Like, again, like playing with my husband, with the kids all together is a very different view on how I'm experiencing it and like a different sense of joy rather than us just being like, gotta get our workout in. Again, separate, siloed completely and just like, not bring it in front of the kids.
What I've noticed now, because like I said, Alex and I were fitting in our workouts wherever we could. And I was doing a lot of it in the morning. And so now, for instance, this morning I didn't work out. And my son woke up about 10 minutes after me. And he said to me, what are you doing this morning? Are you going for a hike? Are you going to work out? Are you going to play tennis? And I said, no, I'm staying at home. And he said, okay. They don't like when we do, but they know that that is just a part of the routine. It's just
100% that they will grow up to be adults that expect that too. Like if they do just like, this is part of what you should be doing, it'll be so much easier. Again, like they won't have to like fight like my older sister wanting to try to get some physical activity and it'll just be like, I'm supposed to. I need to do this in a fun way though. Like where is the fun? Where is the play in my day today? And I think that we all need to do that a little bit more.
Yeah, we do. And kind of on the note of your sister, or as teens age and they lose or they drop the physical activity that they were previously engaging in, and maybe there's some weight gain. If the family activity has already been established, it would be so much easier for, let's just say it was my daughter, it would be so much easier for me to say to my daughter, hey, like, let's go out and do this. Let's go out and play tennis together, or let's go out and go for a walk, or let's go out and go for a hike. It would be so much easier to do that, to get the steps in and the activity to help with weight management, rather than these are brand new
concepts that they all of a sudden have to, and then they feel bad.
And then they feel bad and it's much more challenging. And then as the parent who doesn't engage in activity to say like, you know, maybe you want to do some activity. And they're kind of like, what?
I know.
I just want to stay home like this.
Or they're just like, oh, great. My mom also thinks I'm fat.
Yes, right? Like they can read between
a lot
the
of
lines,
times,
they can sense it.
Yeah, and then the puberty phase, remember, it's like before they get a big growth spurt, it's often there's weight gain that happens first, which is totally normal.
Yes.
But you're having at this weird phase where they just feel very self-conscious already. So just, 100% being able to give them the outlet of having physical activity, which they should have anyways, but in particular in this time.
Yes. And I didn't want the conversation to be around weight management because there are so many other benefits around physical activity, like our own mental health, right? Like managing a healthy heart, disease prevention, so many different things. And weight management is one of them. And so just the earlier we're able to establish it together as a family, the easier it's going to be to continue it.
As a lifelong lifestyle. I mean, that's usually the thing. It's like physical activity must be part of your lifestyle. And you need to enjoy it.
Yes. Yes. So I would encourage everyone to reflect on activities that they've enjoyed in the past or want to start doing and go for it.
Yeah. I think just saying like, what are we going to play? Whether it's like between you and your husband or your children, just bringing that into daily, weekly routines. And also going for some additional walks.
Yes.
I mean, those two things, I think, will be lifelong benefits for your children, for yourselves. There's no downside to it.
Exactly. And tonight, my sons and I have already planned to have another park date. So that is what we'll be doing after dinner tonight.
I also have to go to the park too.
You get to go to the park.
Yes, I do.
Thank you so much for listening to the Intentional Household podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Join us on Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest at Intentional Household, where we're sharing even more tips, tools, and resources to help your home run with more ease, intention, and joy. Until next time, here's to creating a household that supports the life you want to live.